Hi there, I'm Paul Riley from Fitness Depot. I just wanted to show you on my home treadmill. This is a common problem that a lot of people call and want to know how to adjust their belt. So I've taken you to my basement where we've got a Precor treadmill, and just to kind of walk you through on how to adjust it yourself, how to center the belt, and how much tension you should have on the belt so that you don't over tighten it, okay? So we're just going to look really quickly here at the treadmill belt. If you are experiencing a slipping happening on the belt while you're walking, it seems as though it's almost like a crazy carpet. Usually it's an indication that the belt is too loose. Now the way to check that is, it's very simple. Basically a 3-finger rule. It shouldn't be loose at 3 fingers, it should be fairly taut. So you go to the middle of the belt, you try to stack your 3 fingers together, and they should be squeezed. If it's really loose, if it's coming up quite easy, then that usually is an indication that the belt's loose. Over tightening it would not allow you to put the 3 fingers up. So on the end where the belt is rolling over is a simple roller, and it has 2 bolts that the roller sits on. So you'll see it exposed here. You don't have to take an end cap off. It should have come with an Allen key, and if not, you can just get one at the hardware store. What you want to do is you want to get the machine started at about 2.5 miles an hour and let it run. And what you want to do is you want to turn from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock for your first adjustment, a half turn to both sides clockwise. And what that does is it brings the roller back and it gets rid of that slack that's in the belt. This should only usually happen once when you first buy the treadmill. It usually takes a little bit of adjustment for the first 2 weeks, and then you might do it again in 6 months to a year depending on how much you're using it. Another thing to kind of look for is you don't want the belt to run off and hit the sides of the deck, because that will damage both the sides as well as tear up your belt, and you don't want to do that. So when you're looking at the belt, you should look, and it should be somewhat even on each side. The belt usually will find a level to the floor, so if you have it in a basement like it is right now, I've adjusted the belt so it is on this side, but if the floor is sloped this way, you may have to accommodate for that. So if you notice as you turn it on at 2.5 miles an hour, or you've moved it from one place to another and now the belt is starting to track over to one side, that's telling you that that side of the floor is lower, and that's why the belt's moving that way. So if it's moving towards the left, you come to the left side and you turn the Allen key from 12 till 3, and that's clockwise, so that you will move that roller back, and by doing that it forces the belt back to the center. So you do it while it's moving at about 2.5 miles an hour. If it's on the right hand side, you do the same thing on the right hand side, and you turn it clockwise to your right from 12 to 3. Let it run for a couple minutes after you do an adjustment. Make sure that you don't do it too much, because if you put too much pressure on this roller, 1, it stretches the belt before it should. 2, it puts a lot of pressure on this bearing, and it causes the motor to work a lot harder. So obviously you want to try to reduce that. One other thing I'll mention is that if you have a treadmill, you should you to look in the owner's manual, or ask your salesperson when you're buying it if it is a maintenance free or if it is a maintenance belt. Most are maintenance belts. Precor is not, but most are. And what that basically means is that in order to lubricate, you're lifting the side of the belt. You're starting from the front of the treadmill with a water-based silicone, and you're spraying as far as you can. If you have a silicone, don't get it on the top surface, but underneath the belt. Go from front to back, about 3 to 4 seconds on each side, and turn it on and let it run for a couple minutes. You do that once a month. If you don't do that, what will happen is you'll have what they call static electricity that will build up on the board. A lot of these units are sitting on rubber feet, and because of that, the electricity doesn't have anywhere to go except for on the electronics, and then in turn will blow the electronics. Eventually it'll arc over it. So make sure that you are lubricating a belt that needs to be lubricated, and not lubricating one that does not need to be lubricated, because you'll do harm to the way it's designed. So look at your manual for that. And if you have any other questions, feel free to call us. You can check out our site, fitnessdepotottawa.com. On the top right corner says service request. That'll get you to our service site, or you can call the store at 247-613-247-8888. And this is the industrial store at 499 Industrial. Thank you.